Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us for another edition of the PMI Tampa Bay Agile for Everybody series. I'm your host, Bill Wyszynski, Director of Professional Development and Agile Coach, PMP, and CSM with the PMI Tampa Bay chapter. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm really excited about today's topic because it is applying Scrum to financial reporting. Anybody who knows me knows my background has been with project management and with financial firms. So I've worked with a lot of financial institutions and even have a brand of the Agile Financial. So I'm really excited to share this topic and go in there. And I find it very interesting to see how Scrum has been able to integrate with finance here. So let's start off with this topic of looking at how companies traditionally manage their fiscal year. They create a budget for 12 months. And in that 12 months, they're going to account for everything that's going to happen, all the events, the risks, opportunities, learnings, you name it. And at the end of the year, all the reporting that goes back is going to be based upon that budget. Management tends to reward those departments too that spend all their budget or even exceed it, and will penalize those that do not utilize all their budget, maybe by taking some of it away for the next year, thinking they don't need it. And that may or may not be the smartest way of doing things, because sometimes companies will ramp up a little bit of spending to make sure they get the same amount of funding for the following year. But that is not accounting for anything that's going to happen over the next 12 months when they first account. Just think about this. In December 2019, you came up with your fiscal year budget. You think that might have changed within a few months? No. The Scrum approach takes a different look at it. What it will do is, instead of looking at the entire 12 months and having a fixed fiscal budget, they will still have a 12-year budget, but they're going to focus on the first quarter. And in that first quarter, they'll have an actual target. And with that actual target, they have something they can actually measure their team's progress in terms of meeting or exceeding that financial goal. And it's enabling to account for the events, the risks, the opportunities, the learnings, anything that can happen over the next year. Now, they are looking at the entire year, keeping that in mind, but think of the rest of the year, in particular the next 6 months after the first quarter, is more like an epic, and it's going to get broken down. It's still in the back of your mind. It's there. And while that initially sounds unusual, quite frankly, that is the way that Wall Street does it and financial analysts do it. I was in charge of an ETF, and as a program manager with the ETF, I worked as some of the duties I did was including some financial analysis in there and breaking it down. And I did that very early in my career too, working with mutual funds. And I can tell you that cardinal rule number one is, when it comes to Wall Street and its particular investments, past performance is not indicative of future results. So they're only going to go out so far. They're only going to go out this quarter. So that's how they've always done things. So this Scrum approach of looking at the more certain, of a time frame that's more short-term time frame that they can give advice with based upon what's happening, is what Wall Street has been doing all along. And they actually expect companies to do it like that, although they tend not to. Well, in that sense, Scrum actually meshes with finance very well. So hopefully that high-level topic makes a lot of sense to you. It was a short one, but an interesting one. And I'll leave you with a little inspirational quote for today. First you learn, then you remove the L. On that note, I wish you well, and we'll catch you next time on the Agile Financial and the PMI Tampa Bay Agile for Everybody podcast. Thank you very much.